Hello and welcome to Audionautic Deep Space Network, episode 52. This is our weekly music production, technology, and marketing podcast. Today, we are celebrating a year of weekly live streams. Thank you so much for everyone that's been with us from the start or just joined us today. We appreciate it so much. We'll also talk the new Roland SH-4D, which Eon Lake already doesn't like the name of, apparently. And then we'll talk about a very cool, it might seem small, but it's actually pretty awesome, EQ update for Koala Sampler. And finally, we'll take an analytical deep dive into our month-long daily shorts and TikTok posts to show what worked, what didn't work, and whether it's even worth it. My name is Sunwarper, and with me today, finally, is Eon Lake. How are you?
I'm okay, thanks.
Tech issues, you survived the tech issues?
Yeah, more importantly, I got my internet service fixed. So, yeah.
Very cool. What you been up to? It's been a minute, man.
What have I been up to? Apart from the usual messing around with weird Russian synths through large delays.
I like the sound of that. Yeah.
More importantly, I have been backing up. That's right. Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not sexy. It's not exciting, but it's very important.
I used to have this all sussed. I used to have off-site backups and local backups for everything. And I could tell you a very happy story about a hard disk failure where all I had to do was plug in a second hard drive, my backup drive, boot off that, and I had my computer from yesterday when it died. I stopped doing that about a year ago. I upgraded my OS, and I wasn't sure if I was going to need to roll back or not. And then I kind of never got on it again. And I don't know what would happen. If I lost everything that I'm working on, I'm not sure I'd continue. I think I'll be that pissed off. That'd be it. I would implode in a big rage implosion, and I'd never be seen again. So obviously, I think that would be a bad thing. You may disagree. I've done it again. And now everything's backing up every night. And if my hard disk fails, then it doesn't matter. The only thing I'm not covered for is my house burning down.
Got to get a hard drive somewhere else. Off-site.
Exactly. Yeah. I used to use an online backup service. I had 4 terabytes of stuff backed up.
Wow. That's crazy.
Maybe you should talk to Spotify. Maybe they've got some server space for you.
Yeah. I'm sure they got some space for you.
I like to back up all my finished mixes on streaming platforms.
Yeah, you've got it. Yeah, well, I got to tell you, it's great to have you back. We really missed you. And I'm glad that you could come back for this year's worth episode. Also with us today is my Audionautic co-pilot, Curtis. What's going on, man? There we go. Yeah, I was hoping to get a little sample. I couldn't remember the word, but those little, it's like those paper things that they roll out and go like, like a cheers thing. We totally bungled the whole like actual thing. We didn't even get party hats because life got in the way. But yeah, we'll do it for the 2 year. We'll be better prepared. We got a year to prepare for that one, so we'll see. But how you doing, Curtis? What's up?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I'm buzzing. Like I've been since the end of last week. Everything in my head has been about this whole idea of, we're coming up to a year, and like that's really important. It's like on a kind of a whole community growth thing and a whole kind of everything. Everyone in the chat who's there is awesome, and it's like we've been doing this and we've been doing this for a year. I'm like, I can't quite believe it, and so I've been on cloud 9, to be honest. It's really awesome. It's really amazing. So I've been channeling that energy, and I've been making alternative live versions for my tracks, which are coming out on Marooned.
Nice.
That's what I've been doing. Yeah.
Nice.
Trying, and sometimes failing, for the majority failing, to create limitations for myself. And it just getting there. It's all getting slowly.
That's what matters, man. Just getting there. Doesn't matter how you get there, just get there.
Exactly. I've been doing the promo stuff, like been emailing people, and I've been doing videos and stuff like that, made all the canvases and stuff. And as you can see, I've got a bunch of these.
Nice.
So yeah, a bunch of these. So yeah, stuff coming out, and yeah, all been happy on that front. So I can't complain, really. That kind of thing. How about yourself?
Well, quite similarly, I released a new project, the sequel to Future Fade, let's put it, Music for Imagined Landscapes. This one, I've been really excited to release this one, and I've been really stoked. Just everybody that's been digging it, it means a lot, because this one, I've been working on it for quite a while, even before Radiant Visage came out. It's all about monthly releases again, but I'm also taking the ideas behind each song, I'm running those into an AI to create images. So it creates an image that's based on the song. So every single song on Bandcamp and on Spotify has its own image that is the song. It's a visual representation of it. So it's really cool to have this sort of like audio visual component, and it's just been really weird, and then not weird in a bad way, like really surreal to see, like, oh, I was thinking all these things, and then you give it that and it creates this thing, and you're like, that's the song right there, like in a visual thing. And so it's been a lot of fun doing that, and I'm working on the next couple songs for it. So if anybody wants to check it out, you can head to my Bandcamp or on Spotify or any streaming. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's like a year-long thing. Why did Howard raise his hand? I see a hand raised.
I have a question.
Well, just before you ask the question, 1 second, I also want to say I'm gonna tomorrow do a live stream of remaking the first song Vistic with my DAW setup. So instead of being an ambient song, I'm gonna like add some beats and stuff to it, and then with it being Bandcamp Friday on Friday, I might add that version to it depending on how chaotic it becomes. Okay, what's your question, Neon Lake?
Subject to quality control. I just wondered at what point you have the pictures, the images. Do you actually get to do any writing to the image because you named the song first, or does it come after?
No, so I do it after. So it's actually like I'm putting the prompts based on the song, not the song title, but the actual like what the song. When I was making the song, I was like, oh yeah, I wanted birds and I wanted it to be in nature, you know, like the mental image, because I always kind of compose to a mental image. So this time I'm turning those into images. So yeah.
I like the way that once upon a time I did your artwork for you, and now
you've been replaced by
by
Skynet.
AI.
Yeah,
I've been replaced by
We talked about that.
We have. I mean, we've talked about the AI debate for quite a while, and like we're going back and forth about the whole situation.
Wasn't expecting it to happen here.
Yeah, exactly. It's at this level.
Circle of trust, you might have called it.
Well, if the images are still edited, and if I ever need Curtis to rein it in or bring it back, he's there. You know, he's there. But yeah.
For the donkey work, if there's any donkey, please do it.
I love it. It's all fun. It's all tongue in cheek. But it is fun to see. What was going? There are people in the chat. Shady. FCC, Bendu, absolutely wonderful to see you. Thank you ever so much for joining us for this very special occasion. We love you, and we love to see. Bendu has a brand new mixtape out on Mixcloud, which is brilliant. It's always fun, but I mean, I had a particular, had a lovely shout of it this morning on the tram into work. Shady's release with Willa Brown Scott was here, wonderful, absolutely stunning stuff. And FCC, you wait.
Yeah,
you
just wait and see.
You wait till what we got in store with FCC. Wonderful to see. Thank you ever so much. If you're vibing what we're doing and you appreciate it, spread the word. A like, a share. It really, really helps. You have no idea how much it helps. So if you fancy doing a little bit, putting it on Twitter or something like that, or Instagram, or your preferred social media, we'd love you for it. So thank you very much indeed.
And Frequency Control Center says, great new mix. Bendu had it on all day today. Yeah, I think we all probably have or will. I mean, it's my morning, but I will have it on for a good chunk of the day until I have to practice what the heck I'm doing tomorrow for that stream. I don't even remember how I wrote the song, so I gotta like figure it all out, but it should turn out pretty awesome.
This is what you need to. Well, this is what I've been thinking. Like, I could rehearse things over and over and over, but I've been doing some live streams over the past couple of weeks, and just toe dipping into it. Not really announcing it. You kind of have to be like on the ball. You kind of have to see it as it comes, kind of thing. And it's pure just hit record and see what happens. So
I think we're on polar ends of the spectrum, but this is actually going to be remaking the song. It's not like just press it. So I know the chord progression. So, and that's all I kind of want to start with, because I want everything else to be different. I want it to be a remix, like completely through and through, just done live. And we also have Thomas in the chat. Thomas, what's going on? How are you?
very much. Lovely to see you. Hello, welcome. It's always good. What are we talking about today?
Well, we got some interesting stuff. Let's ask the chat. Shall we talk gear or iOS first? That's the question.
Now we sit for
trick question. They're both gear.
Well, one is part of a phone that's like always with you. One is it's portable, but it's not that portable, shall we say. And Thomas also says a bit late for the party, but better late than never. You are not late. You are right on time. We appreciate having you here.
Every wizard arrives just as they meant to. So
oh yeah, what is it? A wizard never arrives early or something?
always when they mean to. Yeah, completely. Which is always the way. I am queuing up. Oh,
too much points for Gandalf there.
Oh, you're kidding. So, okay, so I can't play the Koala because it needs a codex to do it. That's insane.
Okay, well, I'll send you a picture. So let's do the gear first, and I'll send you a screenshot, 2 screenshots, and we'll go like that. When we get to Koala, I'll say it again if we make a clip, but for the Anchor or the Spotify and Apple podcast versions of this podcast, I'll include the video I made and some other stuff that we have later. We'll put the full res. We had an issue where Streamlabs wasn't showing the pre-recorded videos anymore, and I haven't been able to sort it out yet, so we'll get that fixed. But yeah,
we'll get there.
Oh yeah, Bendu mentions I didn't add this to the docket because we got to look into it more, but he was shocked today by the new Digitact OS. Yeah, they added some new. What do they call them? It's like 4 new. Is it machines? I forget. I don't have Electron gear, but they added 4 new things or something to the Digitact. This will probably be of interest to Eon Lake as a Digitact owner.
Yeah, I'm not Googling it right now. Of course.
Definitely not. You're paying attention fully and utterly to what we've got at the moment.
Playback machines and more.
Exactly. Yeah. That'd be interesting. Okay, I'll tell you what. As we are talking about machines, I'm talking about gear and
machines. Yeah. Sorry, it is machines. Thanks, Bendu.
Let's talk about what's coming out of Roland, the new SH-4D. It's been weird. Sunwarper and I had a bit of a conversation about it in the week.
We came to the blows.
Came to blows. There was verbal abuse. There was physical abuse. There was horse heads left in beds and everything. It was insane. Yeah. The new Roland SH-4D.
Yeah, we almost broke up before 52 episodes, but then we were like, nah, you know what? We got to do it.
I was going to go and start a whole new brand called Audionaut. And
I would have sued you.
But yes, let me bring this up so we can see this.
Naughty.
We've got this wonderful thing. Future Retro is coming us here. A wonderful little tabletop box. Sunwarper, do you want to take us through the specs?
Well, I'm doing these photos for you for 1 sec. So do you want me to send them email or WhatsApp for Koala?
Just WhatsApp them to me. It's fine.
All right.
So it's a new desktop synth, which seems a bit like a groove box.
Yeah, I've heard it described as a synth disguised as a groove.
Well, it's 5 synths basically put together. It's 4 synth tracks, which are all polyphonic synths or synth engines, and then 1 drum. Sorry, I sent it, so now I can talk. I don't want to steal your guys' thunder, but if you want me to relay the info, I can.
Go.
Okay, so I this is just us reacting to what's there. This isn't like a super nuanced take. We don't have the synth, unfortunately, but we're just talking what we see and what they talk about. I watched a few different videos. If you want to check out a really in-depth one, I'd suggest Loop Pop or Sonic State. They have some great stuff on it. But basically, it uses the Zen core, which is Roland's way of emulating those old classic synths. And there you get 4 of those engines. So each of the 4 can be polyphonic synths of any of those. I think there's 11 different like engines or oscillators are based on like SH-101, the Junos, Jupiters, all that stuff. And then there's a 5th channel or track that's drums. So you get a lot in there. It's $649, so it's $650 US. I believe there's only the 1 filter though. I mean, it's got, as you can see in the picture, it's low pass, high pass, band pass, but I think it's only the one. It won't use the Zencore presets from existing Roland synths. From what I've been reading, it's like kind of a Zencore Lite or something. So it's very much like it's a detached box on its own, from what I understand it. But it also has some really cool motion sensing. It's like trippy, the stuff they're adding to it. So yeah, and then it's got its own multi effects and sequencer, all that good stuff.
You don't sound convinced, Dion.
No, I mean it is what it is. I suppose if you want one of those, it looks like it's intended to sort of. It's almost like having like a bank of classic Roland synths going through a mixer. You know, maybe with some effects like you might play on stage, but all inside one box that, you know, has a more useful user interface that gives you all of that potential motion sequencing goodness and stuff like that you're used to on something modern. So, I mean, it seems like you get a reasonable amount for your money, and for stacking up sounds and engines, you know, you could probably get some very, very, very thick sounds out of it, I would imagine, if you're, you know, running several classic synths on top of each other. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have a need for it personally, but it could be interesting. They're pitching it as retro. I wonder if the full palette that you can get out of it actually puts it in that corner, or if it's more flexible than it might appear, and that's just marketing.
I think it's a bit more flexible. I can read a few more things if you guys want regarding it.
Go
okay, so one of the things I was talking about, the D-motion, that it has some motion. They say, this is direct from Roland's website, use D-motion to control 2 assignable parameters for the XY axis, or call up the unique visual arpeggio to shape note patterns via fun interactive displays. So there is some like newish things in that way, but more to your point about if it's all retro, the way they talk about, let me pull it back up. They've got classic, I think these are what the engines or synths. So inspired by Roland SH synths, lets you build vintage analog sounds with up to 4 different waveforms. You can use the SH-4D model, which swaps an extra LFO for the 4th part. There's also a jammable chord model for creating complex chord changes. Then they list it as future, where it has a cross FM model, a wavetape model, or use the drawing model to design your own waveforms and build sounds never heard before. So it's not all the classic sounds. It sounds like it's got additional things. Of course, this is PR speak. We're reading it right from the website, but this is what's in the box. They also have modulated. You can have bold metallic textures with the ring model, and there's also a sync model, easy to create oscillator sync tones, and then legacy, where you get the SH-101, Juno 106, and a PCM model. So yeah,
I think who did I see on Twitter? I can't remember who it was, so I'm not going to throw a name out there because it might be wrong. But the notion of kind of like they're coming back to these retro synths, and this is on the con side, I suppose. Well, okay, so yeah, but they're really doubling down on it, and this is another retro synth sound, another 80s sound, another kind of vintage sound, which is all very well and good, and it's all very fun. I could argue where's the pushing of the boundaries, where's the new ideas, where's the new stuff coming through. On the one hand, I'm not saying I necessarily agree with it, but the idea that it seems, again, like in terms of sound design and where we're going, the idea that they're running for that middle ground, something which is familiar, something which they know is going to sell, as opposed to something which is new age, or something that is going to, like I say, push the boundaries of synthesis, of sound design in that regard.
I can see that, but I have to echo what Bendu says in the chat. He says, sounds like a perfect way to get into hardware. And that's kind of what, like I was telling you in our talk yesterday, I was like, I could see this being powerful with like a circuit tracks or something, where you could have just a bunch in just one box or 2 boxes, or even like this and the SP404 with sampling or something. I'm not sure all the MIDI connectivity with that, but I mean, you get a lot in that box. It is really like a groove box, kind of an evolution more of like the MC, the 707 from Roland and stuff like that. So I don't think every synth has to push the boundaries. And from what they're saying about all these different models and engines within it, it does sound like you can get some pretty trippy sounds. But yeah, I think it's really good as like a getting into hardware if you need a lot in a small box, like for live performance or something like that. And just one more thing before we get to Eon, like Thomas says, sounds like Roland reinvented the D-beam. Yeah, I mean, it's cool that they have that motion bit in there. And then FCC says these things are getting smaller and smaller. Yeah, I that was my biggest gripe is the form factor. I understand why it's set up like that, but everything is so small on it. But again, if it's portability you're looking for, or just a lot in one box, it's the way to go. Ian, like you looked like you had something to say.
Well, it's good to have a few boxes like that that are small, that you could, in theory, do a gig with a few, powerful boxes on their own and do something useful with that without sounding like it's a compromise. And in respect to, like, is it really pushing the boundaries? I suppose they're classic sounds, right? Those synths sounded amazing and still do. It's almost like these are the features that you would expect if we brought them out now, sort of thing, with Cross FM and things like that, and the additional control that the user interface gives you. So it's kind of like it's pitched as the best of both worlds. So you've got, tried and trusted sounds, but you've got modern functionality and so on, and additional features, plus it's all in a little tiny box. I think, if you've got space for that, if that's what you need, it can cover a lot of area, definitely. And it's going to sound good. Whether or not it has the full range you want, I don't know, but there will be very good sounds in that box, and it will be fun. There's no doubt about that. So yeah, I mean, it could be good if you've got a gap in your rig, or like Bendo says, if you've just been staring at a laptop screen forever and you want a little box to play with, it could make you very happy, I think.
Yeah. Again, if you've got a daughter set up and that's what you're aiming for and that's what you shoot, it's a good contender for like a Digitact or a Syntact or something like that. Even an Octatrack or something like that. It's a good viable thing for that if that's what you want to go for. It has been very well received on Twitter, because obviously that is the bastion of all fundamental
That's
knowledge.
how we measure things. Yeah,
exactly. So I mean,
it's a very healthy way to measure.
Yeah, especially as it's not gone downhill at all.
Just one last thing before we read off some of the Twitter reactions. One other thing is, even in a DAW type setup, having a small desktop synth with all that flexibility, you can program things into it and send it right back. So you can have that, what we always talk about with the tactile nature, where you've got that filter you can switch and move, and it's got all these different sounds put in it. So if you're looking for something that detaches, because that's the other part, you could then detach it and have this portable one, bring it back and connect it to the computer, and you've got all that stuff you've been working on away from it, or when you're working there, and send it into it. It's kind of a way to kind of start with a hybrid setup, which is something I'm looking like. That's kind of how I do things now. So and then one last thing, in the chat, Thomas says, Roland says it got integrated. It's got integrated USB-C audio MIDI interface. Record 12 discrete audio channels directly into your DAW. That's exactly what I was saying. You can have this connection to your DAW and then remove it. It's pretty cool. And then
I hope it doesn't use proprietary drivers.
Oh yeah, I wish the SP had like multi-outs. The USB audio is pretty awesome, but it would be really cool. Same with the circuit if it had that. And then lastly, FCC says, if I had the money, I'd think about getting one. Looks like you get a huge amount of tech for your money. Yeah, that's what it's a lot of bang for your buck in a tiny box, and that hybrid connectivity is really cool with it. Anyways, let's hear what the Twittersphere has to say about it, Curtis?
Well, in a similar regards, people really want to kind of get it in a similar vein to FCC. You got people saying they're going to save up for it. It's looking impressive. Probably one of the most impressive things they've released for a while in terms of their synthesizers, which is probably fair in that regard. And that people think that it's sleek, it looks good, and that mobility kind of idea is really good. You can alter it by physically moving it, which is kooky and a bit different, but I mean, we all look for kookiness and difference. I mean, look at what we do for a living,
Look at us.
Exactly. Look at this, you know. So yeah, it makes absolute sense. There is one. There's an interesting sticking point with the Zen core system inside, which does not have. We should say does not. You can't use existing Zen core presets with it.
Yeah,
It has only got new ones, which is a big sticking point, as this person says. And I feel like they might be English. I could be completely wrong, but I feel the sarcasm. In quote marks, they say Zencore is our most advanced synthesis system and the culmination of decades of work. It forms the backbone of Roland's philosophy and cloud DAW integration. So, did you implement it in the new SH-4D synth?
It's partially. That's what I was saying at the start. It's kind of like it sounds like it's Zencore Lite. They don't correlate because there's those more expensive. I can't remember if they're Jupiter or Juno, like XM. There's those like the flagship models of their Zencore stuff that has all these things, and there's not really talk between them, and so it's kind of like this weird in between.
If you've already got one, you'd be annoyed, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff in this 4D is, at least from my knowledge, I don't have the MCs, but they're kind of like an evolution from the MC, but I guess there's not much, like you can't, there's no update for the MC that kind of brings parity or anything like that. Again, this is, I'm not fully up to speed on all the Roland Zencore and Groovebox things, so this is just kind of from what I was reading. But yeah, that is a bit of a sticking point.
So I have to say on that regard.
And then there's the other thing that's really crap about it. The name.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I
really thought long about that one, didn't I?
Yeah, it's not the most attractive thing in the world, is it? It's not.
The SH makes sense because it's what it is. But
well, I think the 4 is because it's 4 synth tracks. Maybe, I don't know. That's the logical part of my brain going
with exciting names, and then you just get that 01D/4. Sounds like a form that you have to fill in.
But isn't that kind of Roland's thing, though? I mean, does Roland?
It is, yeah.
It's just not very attractive.
Then they used to use words like Juno and Jupiter, and they used to have a bit of, sparkle to them.
I mean, I just see 4D and think that the CEO has been going into the forest and eating some funny fungi, and then it's just he's hitting another dimension.
And then writing that description of the engine.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
Office. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not one for words. I'm not one for words, and I can barely string a sentence together, as this sentence very much illustrates. But I don't know. Put me on the board, and I'll come up with some names.
At least you could enjoy the earth eating that they may be partaking in. You could join them.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, let's change the subject. Thomas in the chat says that he'll wait for the 8D version.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you chain two together to become 8D.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see, if it goes over well, a bigger one that has more that also comes with a keyboard.
It'd be interesting to see.
But I guess maybe you're getting more into that XM territory at that point. I don't know.
Maybe.
But I think those XMs are pretty expensive, so they could probably make like an in-between that's half Groovebox, half synthesizer. That would be like more than the 4D, but less than those.
They've gone to a lot of trouble to make it a little tiny portable thing, and they go, it hasn't got a mast or a sail or of course not. It's small. That's
I get that.
Well, before we shift topics, though, if anybody in the chat has anything they want to add about the 4D, let us know. Bendu also says he was unimpressed with Roland's cloud plugin situation. They kept dropping their license for me mid-session, so I canceled the sub and uninstalled them. Yeah, that's not what you need. Then he says it's a plus for me that this is not just a repackage of that system. Well, after that experience, that's a big plus.
That's exactly what you don't need, isn't it?
Exactly. Thomas also said earlier that he had a Roland, and he said, I don't know if he's being serious, he could send us a copy. But then there was that whole diving, I can't remember what it's called, whatever that is.
No, I think he said said have Roland send you guys a copy. So if you want them to tweet them,
still waiting for that.
You're welcome to tweet them and tag us and say, hey, send one to Audionautic. We'll see what happens.
We'll make it work. Yeah, we'd like to see if you guys do it, get around to getting it, and you kind of find your thoughts. Put it in our Discord. We'd like to know what's going on with that. Our Discord is growing and burgeoning.
Video.
Yeah, video, whatever you do, just let us know. We'd love to see you over there. We'd love to see what happens there. That's our nerdy little corner of the internet.
Yeah, I mean, if you're out there buying any of this kit that we talk about, yes, we want to see it.
Yeah, very much so.
Of course we do.
Very much so. So yeah, and that is the Roland. I have also, I should say, I've managed to get the video working for Koala.
Nice. Okay, then I didn't have to waste that time doing those screenshots. How dare you?
I know.
No, it's all
I'm
good.
so
It's all
sorry.
good.
I'm so sorry.
This is how we adapt and overcome tech issues. So it's okay.
We do. We overcome tech issues by working. These
We'll
things
talk
also.
more about that in the year-end wrap-up.
Exactly. This before we move on to the next bit, this show is brought to us by our patrons. A lot of you are in our chat this evening. Thomas, Shady, Bendu, thank you ever so much. We really appreciate you, especially in this year. We've got a segment coming up about it, but yeah, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for doing this. If you like what we do, please consider becoming a patron. The link is in the description. Patreon.com/audionautic.
Yeah, I always get caught up too.
It's
like
the
a
global
tongue twister.
dyslexia. Yeah. The global dyslexia that runs our lives. Pledges start at $2, and that's very little. And it allows us to do more of this, go deeper. It allows us to start. We're in a space where we're starting to kind of get more software and stuff. We're not getting hardware yet, but we're getting software and stuff, and it allows us to kind of do more with that. And it really helps, in short. And so, if you like what we do and you want to see it grow as much as we do, consider becoming a patron. We'd really appreciate it. There are extra bits. We have a community in Discord and on Twitter. There's some extras. We're bringing some new things moving forward, some more pre-recorded content, which you get access to full length and early. So yeah, it's always a good place to be.
Yeah, and it also has an additional hangout, a video hangout that we do with our patrons called Starstream. It's once a month. We're going to be upping it soon, but the next one I believe is this Sunday, right?
Sunday, 8 p.m. 7 p.m. UTC, 8 p.m. Central European Time. Thomas, looking at you. And we also have, which is 11 o'clock, I believe.
Yeah, it sounds about right. 10 or 11 Pacific, but I think it's 11.
Yeah,
if that's when we meet normally for ADSN, it's 11. But yeah, we'd love to have you guys if you want to check it out. Head on over to our Patreon. It's in the description. And our Discord's also in the description if you just want to come and hang out and talk with us. All are welcome to the Discord. And a special shout out to our Audionaut engineer, McKinleyA. We appreciate all of your support.
Looking forward to seeing you again, man. Very much so. Starstream, it's like our undiluted cordial of nerdicism, isn't it, really?
That was quite a word, a statement, man.
It's cool. It's just
it's
pure,
a ton of fun. We just nerd out on
fun.
synthy stuff and whatever everyone wants to talk about. And it's great to just have this community. We'll talk more about this when we get to the year-end wrap-up. But especially with our patrons, to have this tight community where we just talk about all kinds of stuff, share things. It's just awesome. It's nice to have that where we can share things about, like, dude, I tweaked this LFO and got this crazy sound, and you don't just get the person's eyes glazing over. They're like, oh, that's awesome. Like, yeah.
If you've had enough of withering looks from people talking about this stuff, and you're looking for a safe place, where you gotta go.
Speaking of eyes rolling over simple things, let's talk EQ.
Yeah, let's talk EQ before I lose my mind.
I'm sitting down.
Very much so. Let me put this up. So this one, I got the video working because multitasking. Getting in touch from a feminine side.
I'm proud of you.
What is this?
I'm proud of you. I'll give you a gold medal. 10 out of 10.
Thank you. What is this video that we're going to be looking at?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's pretty simple, but it's just a really awesome feature. So, Koala Sampler is 4 years old. It's an iOS and I believe Android. There may even be a desktop version of it, but it's a sampler, as it says in the name. It doesn't have a ton of functions. It's really just you get a bunch of pads where you can put in samples. You can auto chop it. You can now stem split if you get the upgrade, the Samurai upgrade. And the stem splitting's pretty decent. But now with that upgrade, so Koala Sampler is, I believe, $4.99, and the Samurai upgrade is $3.99 or $4.99 as well. And it comes with the stem splitting and things like that, but it also now comes with an EQ. It's a 3-band EQ, so you can high pass, low pass, and then there's a notch EQ that you can move around and all that. And it before that was added, just like 3 days ago or whatever, you had a little tone. It was like a high pass or low pass that you could move on each sample, but it wasn't super nuanced. And so this one, you can really cut out low end, cut out high. You can emphasize parts or take parts out in the middle. So it makes a huge difference when it comes to samples. So let's just show that video.
Okay, here we go. The wonders of FLC or VLC player. You see that?
Yes, VLC to the rescue. Yeah. So up at the top, you'll see a frequency spectrum. That's the new section, the EQ section. And then you can just... Oh, it's not... I don't hear sound. Can you get
That's
sound?
the one thing we can't do because this is Google Meet. Yeah. But you can see what
Okay, well,
you're
now
doing
you can see there I'm cutting down the low end, the high end. You can move it all around. And then there's that middle one. You can boost or cut. It would look and sound a lot cooler with sound. But like I said, if you head to the Spotify or Apple Podcast versions of these, which will release this Saturday, March... I don't know the date, but March whatever. Curtis is better with dates. Today's the 1st, so add a few days. But yeah, if you head over there this Saturday, you can check it out. I'll put the video in there.
Yeah, there is one thing for technical issues. It would not be an ADSN without technical issues.
I'll get the proper date, the 4th.
The 4th.
There we go, March 4th. Numbers aren't my thing, all right? I didn't even use a calendar until Curtis just like forced it upon me for these Audionautics.
We must be dignified and we must be organized. I have no apologies for that. So it looks cool. I mean, things like in the flip sampler, I use the flip sampler because I'm a fanboy for Andrew Huang. He's got all that stuff in there. So it's interesting to see things like Koala come through with these EQs. The idea it's one thing to sample something, but then to turn and flip that sample into something completely something else within the box itself. That's quite exciting. So I'm glad that's come through.
Yeah, and they also said, what got me really excited, they said lots more to come soon. So there may be a lot more updates. I wonder if they're going to put some behind another upgrade paywall, which is fine. I mean, if anybody's familiar with Koala, I mean, it's really awesome and you get a lot of bang for your buck. So I don't mind if they add a bunch more stuff. There's already effects in there and things like that, but I would love to see per track effects, just like how they've added this per track or per pad EQ, like being able to add reverb to things rather than having to isolate that sequence you're making and then resample it. It would make it a lot easier. But what I like about Koala, and it sounds like Flip or anything like that, is having something so portable that you can just jot down ideas. You know, you could save to your iCloud some one-shots of like a synth sound, a guitar sound, and then you can put those in and use chromatic mode to just have these like synthy sounds and make polyphonic sounds, things like that. It's just nice to have that. Like if I'm watching TV, I can just make a beat or something on Koala. So I love that. So I'm just curious with the chat if anybody either uses Koala and what they think about this update, if they might grab Koala, or if they use an alternative like Curtis does. I'd love to hear it and what you use it for. Eon, like, do you use any of these iOS apps?
Yeah, I do. I have played with them. You know, it's a great way of stress testing any personal relationships you have. If nothing else. But yeah, if there's something boring on the telly that you don't want to watch, you know, I know it's a stretch. It never happens, but yeah, it is something else you can do. I like the fact that, you know, if you're out and about, but you've got a device with you, you know, we often have to time hack to get the right amount of time together to actually come up with something. You know, we don't have time to sit here in our little nests that we've created all the time. Sometimes you've got to create out there. And to be honest, psychologically, that's not necessarily a bad thing either.
Yeah.
You might be inspired by being waiting for a bus. I don't know.
I mean, there's nothing The only time I feel inspired is when I'm trying to.
On a tram.
Yeah, I mean it's the best thing. It's the best thing in this world.
But even like if you go off on vacation or something, you know, you have this right handy, and you could even use it as like a field recorder to record sounds and have all these in a pad, and you could trigger it later in the studio or something like that, or in a live performance. There's tons of cool stuff you can do with any type of iOS sampler, but yeah.
To be honest, I don't want it to be really, really complicated.
That's yeah, I'm with you.
You know, and EQ, all right. If you sample things, you probably often want to change their tonality quite drastically. So it's good to include that. But yeah, you want it relatively light so you can have it with you.
Yeah, I don't want it to be a DAW. Like I have trouble working a GarageBand on iOS just because it's like, you know, there's so I appreciate there's so much in there, but it's nice with Koala. It's just all right there in front of you. I think the EQ edition is huge, and like I said, I would love to see per pad reverb and delay or something like that. But yeah, it's like it's that in between of it's really a sampler on your phone. It's not a DAW.
Look at that. I've just got mental images. I've got plans to go to Iceland with my girlfriend in the summer. I've got this image of us just driving through, looking at the glaciers and the geysers and stuff like that. And she's
or
like,
her looking and you on Koala.
And she's like, oh wow, look at that over there, like the dream come true. And I'm just like, whoa.
Hold on, I'm changing this ice sound sample. I gotta tweak the high end.
Can't wait. Iceland's gonna be great. So yeah, we'll see. We'd like to know what you think. Again, do you use these portable samplers? They are increasingly trendy and they're always fun. I love them. I can't get enough of them. Like you say, not overly complicated. Great way to get scratched down some ideas.
Yeah.
Like to know if any speak to you. Let us know. Any more on that, or should we move to the 1 year segment?
No, I think that's it.
Cool. Well, the elephant in the room, which we haven't discussed at all for this show so far, is the fact that it is a year. It's been doing this for a year. And I, for one, am immensely happy about that notion that we've done 52 episodes. So I'm just going to do a little clap very quietly.
Golf clap.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. And we really wouldn't be here. Again, it would. The whole point of this and kind of what we do it is, our motto, together we grow. And this idea that this community that we're building and growing, and you guys tuning in every week and, you know, offering your thoughts and your comments and everything. This is kind of what this is about. We joke about it, but this nerdy little corner where we can sit and we can talk about filter sweeps and people understand and empathize for what we have to do.
They know the joy.
Because they know the joy of a filter sweep.
The joy of sweeps.
Yeah.
The joy of sweeping. Yeah.
Exactly. And so, yeah. We wanted to do that. So we went to our Discord and we wanted to get the ideas, because there's 3 of us here, but we wanted to kind of get an idea of kind of people in the community, kind of their thoughts on what they're getting on board with. And we got some comments and stuff in the ADSN channel on our Discord, and lovingly enough, we got a few video replies as well. And so I made a little montage. And involving ASF Stripe and Hydra Fighter, which is lovely to see. Hydra Fighter, patron of ours, well, both ASF Stripe and Hydra Fighter are patrons of ours. Hydra Fighter you've seen on the show quite a bit. Their music is playing underneath as well, and it's just a really nice way to see.
We will get sound, right?
Yeah, I've managed to work this one so we can actually get sound. So I've like copied it to Google. So we'll see. So we'll make it work. But yeah, I'm gonna share my tab so we can see 1 year video.
Yeah, just before you do that, I just want to again express how grateful we all are to have you all along for the ride. It's been such a journey, and I remember when we first started. We started Audionautic 2-3 years ago, something like that. I think we're coming on 3 years of Audionautic, but we were like, the thought of doing live streams was just so foreign to us. Like, there's no way we could do it unedited, and it's just so scary, like, to go live. And I remember when we first started going live, I can only speak for myself, but I was super nervous and anxious about going live. Like, any type of live performance, live show is very nerve-wracking, and we did some tests with our patrons, and those tests were just some of the most fun I think we all ever had, and just talking about all these things, and then we started going live, and that kind of allayed our concerns, and we built up to it, and it's just been so great to have this community and grow this community with you all, and we really appreciate having you all along for the ride. So, thank you.
Yeah, you're like.
I remember vividly how insane I thought Sunwarper was suggesting this nonsense. But even me was turned around, managed to convince me. And yeah, I'm very glad to be part of it and humbled by the support.
It's good fun. It is, and the support is everything. We love hearing what you got. We throw some stuff every week out into the interwebs. And just the stuff that we get back from the community is absolutely beautiful and wonderful, and we love it, and we love this cultivation. It's really cool. So let's see what the community has to say. So this is, like I say, from ASF Stripe and from Hydra Fighter. I hope you can see this. You can see this right now. I hope. And we're going to go with this.
Hey there, this is Ace of Stripe, aka Dave. I just want to take a minute to congratulate the Audionautic crew on, or is it Audionautic crew on a really great 1 year. I think what I admire about them is their commitment. They to their craft, to their music, to their supporters. I'm one of them, and I will continue to be, and just great job. All right, keep going.
Hey guys, congrats to the Audionautic guys on their 1 year anniversary of the ADSN show. It's been a great year. I dig the gear talk, the marketing advice. It's a great community. It's a lot of diversity. It's nice to be able to bounce some ideas off of other musicians who understand the language. Can't tell you how much it's helped me out. Looking forward to another new and exciting year from the guys. Congrats.
I love that chord progression.
It's cool,
Steve's.
Wonderful.
That's a sick song.
It is, very much so. And that's the one time that when I made a pre-recorded video, I put a big, long black screen for you.
That's right.
So you know we're still on the Streamlabs, and it's the one time we don't do it. So yeah, very cool. But yes, that's it. So ASF Stripe and Hydra Fighter, our patrons. It's lovely to see. We see Hydra Fighter in the chat, and he comes on the show. And he makes some banging music, as does ASF Stripe. So you see the links. Go check it out.
Yeah, definitely. And we also have a few over in our Discord, right?
Yeah, I'm just going to load it up now so we can see this one here. So FCC says, loving the community. I've connected with some really genuinely great people and learned a huge amount. I've only recently got back into making music again, so it feels like I've been learning from scratch. The live shows and the community have been a massive help. I don't think I've met a nicer bunch of people than the middle-aged men making electronic music. I love that last little bit. It's great. Yeah, it's a great way of doing it. It's the gear talk. It's the friendly faces. It's the like-minded people. It's a really nice thing to build.
Yeah, definitely. And we appreciate all of you. As I said, it means so much to have you all with us every week.
Yeah. It's lovely to, like you say, throw something at the wall and then have it come back at you and kind of learn and grow. Like we were talking about a couple of weeks ago on the Star stream about creating unique drum kits, and then Bendu just comes up with this fabulous way of making a project file in Ableton for making randomized drum hits with MIDI, and it's just that a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing to see.
A different outlook, a different approach, something else to try. Yeah. And you don't have to be a middle-aged man either. I mean, everyone's welcome. If you're like us and you're just passionate about music and gear, making sound, production, then you belong.
Well, as FCC put it in the chat, he says, my wife appreciates it as well, as I don't need to talk to her about it anymore.
There you go. Helping significant others in many countries.
Saving marriages for a whole year by this point. But we'd like to see it. I mean, it's interesting. We've got lots of things coming. We're doing more pre-recorded content coming through, or attempting to, which is again another reason our patrons will get all that first and foremost. So we'll roll that out to them before it comes to the main event, so to speak. But we are coming up with new ways every week, every month. Me and Sunwarper sit down every Monday, most Mondays, sometimes the odd Tuesday, but mostly Mondays. And we sit down, we hash things out, and we're planning and we're scheming. As Hydrofighters said, we're ambitious kids. And it's a wonderful kind of thing to do. So I'm looking forward to the more, I wouldn't say more structured, but kind of the more pre-recorded content we're going to bring through. I think that's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, let's hope we can get Streamlabs to cooperate.
Yeah, hopefully. Maybe you just need to get a new computer. Maybe that's the way forward.
My computer's pretty new. I don't have your issue. It's from 2020, 2021, something like that.
I
might try uninstalling Streamlabs and reinstalling. Maybe it's just some weird glitch. I don't know.
Maybe what. But yeah, guys in the chat, watching back, you are all Audionauts just by tuning in and taking part. You are. So we'd love to know what you get from the community, if anything. What is it you appreciate? What is it you like? What is there anyone in the community who stands out in terms of anyone who's helped you? We love this idea that we all help each other and we all kind of, again, together we grow, and we'd love to see that vocalized, put down, and kind of seen, that kind of thing. So yeah, let us know. And
now on to darker talks. Let's discuss meta verification.
We
had a nice high. We had a nice reprieve from the dystopian drama, but let's get into it. I promised you guys we'd talk about it this week, so I feel we have to. I apologize, but
plunging into the void. This is supposed to be like tombstonings, like.
No, I think it's important to talk about because I read a bit into it. I gave Curtis a link. It's Meta's website where they talk about what it does. FCC in the chat says, no, not social media. Well, that's, I think it's an important facet of Audionautic. And, we got to talk about these things. So, yeah, let's... Oh, it looks like Hydro Fighter is in the chat. He says, congrats, guys.
Just missed the video.
Yeah, he just missed it, but hey, man, that's a great song. Same with Ace of Stripes. It's awesome, but thank you. We appreciate it so much. But J-Bell says it's his favorite topic. Yeah, I'm sure with, Facebook and whatnot for you.
You're right, Larry.
not the greatest, but let's talk about this because this is coming soon to a paywall near you. Let's put it that way. So meta verification, it's $12 if you do it on the web. It's $15 on iOS and Android. So here's what they say the biggest features are. A verified badge confirming you're the real you and that your account has been authenticated with the government ID. More protection from impersonation with the proactive account monitoring for impersonators who might target people with growing online audiences. Help when you need it with access to a real person for common account issues. Exclusive features to express yourself in unique ways. And the best feature, and I say that incredibly sarcastically, increased visibility and reach with prominence in some areas of the platform, like search, comments, and recommendations. So I've been following the Facebook pages drama for a long time because I've been doing music with the Facebook profile since I think 2013, 2014. And I remember when I first started, you'd post something and basically all of your followers would see it, right? Anybody that was following your page, this isn't a personal profile, this is like a page, a business page. Anybody that was following it most likely would see it and you'd get a lot of traction. And then all of a sudden, when they started really pushing their ads, you'd see less reactions on non-ad posts. Less reactions. So what they were doing, and they've talked about it. They were limiting exposure to your posts unless you ad boosted it. And I remember even just a couple months ago, I was mentioning on an ADSN, I made a post on Facebook, which I never do anymore, but I was like, let me just do it. And it came up with a little thing, reach 430 of your 500 followers by spending $10. I was like, so if I spent $10, even my full followers still wouldn't see it. That's not enough for them. So this is like just another, so they haven't said whether it's like to what degree, let's put it, it's going to bring it up to, but are they going to reduce visibility for non-paid ones even more, and then these ones get where we're at now, or are they going to up it from where we're at now? It's just like, really, come on. But I know Eon like loves this idea, so I'd love to hear his take on it. Just keep it a little PG if you can.
This is Meta shooting itself in the face.
I should say, I believe this is a test in quotes that they're rolling out. Continue.
But like Instagram testing everything until everyone gets bored and goes and uses another platform, and that's what's going to happen. This is the beginning of the end, isn't it? You know what this essentially says is a standard non-verified account is now worthless. So if you're not going to stump up the money, you may as well leave. I know you've been thinking about it. Off you pop. And you know, I mean, what is the follow button for if you're not going to see things from that person unless they're paying a certain amount of money? That just makes me angry, you know.
Yeah, it makes you more of the product. You're even more of the product, because you following then means you can become a product for someone's advertising markets. Yeah.
Well, I click the follow button. I expect to bloody see stuff, not have somebody go, oh, right, he's following you now, but we're not going to show him any of your stuff unless you pay us. What the?
Yeah.
Just no. On every count, no. No, thank you. No.
Well, I think chat really disagrees with you. They say, let us verify you by taking your money yet another way. That's J Bell. I was being sarcastic, by the way. Bendu also says, because we saw how well this worked over on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly.
And Curtis, Hydrofighter, said that he was able to see it, or to all of us. He's just wrapped up in some work, but he's listening. No worries, Steve. We just appreciate you being here, of course. But yeah. Curtis, what's your take on this?
That is really it's just more money. They realize that it's almost as if they understood that they're going down on a sinking ship, and they're just trying to scrabble every bit of money they can before the last little bit of the hull goes under. It's just like you say, Frequency Control Center says it's right. Social media isn't social anymore. It's pay to play.
Yeah. For real.
And it's true. It's completely true. And you know, like, people can follow me on Instagram but not actually see any of my content, because you know I'm not the right kind of thing that's going to keep people on the platform. But it's just illogical, and I do think it's almost like again, screaming babies, just kind of like, well, I want this, we're going to do this, you know. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. I see what they're saying. I just don't believe anything that they're saying, if that makes sense. I see what they're trying to do, but I don't believe it. Or it just sounds like maybe that's my cynicism from social media, but I just don't.
Well, there's a reason you've become jaded and cynical to social media. It's things like this. I can understand like having someone, they say that it keeps someone accessible. If you have issues, you can contact like a real person. I understand that's, work hours and stuff. So yeah, it kind of makes sense. But my biggest sticking point really falls on that visibility thing. I mean, I don't like any sort of paywall on social media, because just using social media, you're already the product. Going beyond that is just like
greed.
Greed, and making I don't even know how to phrase it, so I'm not even going to try. But my biggest issue is like that visibility being further and further behind paywalls. And then I really want to know, like I was saying earlier, whether they're going to limit normal posts even further, so that this paid increased visibility gets you to where we're at now, and then advertisement gets you farther, or is it going to stay where it is, and then being this thing gets you up here, and then if you pay, it gets you up higher. I don't know. But that's my biggest sticking point. I mean, I don't like it in general, but that really is where I'm like, this is just ridiculous. Now they claim it's a test. It's only available for certain people, I think. I don't know who falls under that category and all this stuff. But I mean, sometimes I feel like they say it's a test just because they expect a bad reaction so they can walk it back and then probably introduce something cheaper that's less, but they're still able to make money off of it or something. It's just, I don't like it. Let's put it that way.
without getting too meta about the whole situation. I mean, if we look at the nature of capital and the notion of everything, it's a self-eating system. It needs to the money needs to be fed in for it to keep on existing. That's the nature of capital. Yeah. And this is just another example of that. They need more money to feed the beast to keep it ongoing. So, I mean, what were you going to say, Ian?
Well, I mean, it sucks as a creator, as an artist.
Yeah.
But that's not really the drawback for me. For me, I think as the interested party, it's just wrong. It just double sucks because, whether or not you see something you've expressed an interest in, I clicked your stupid button, why aren't you showing me stuff? Yeah. Why, if you're not going to show people what they want to see, your platform's going to die. I mean, it just is,
It is.
Well, that's what Bendu says. He says, as someone who liked Instagram as a way to keep up with creators, I'm interested in. It's been worthless for that for a while. And we've been reporting on that for the last couple of months, ever since that TikTok change they did, that they walked back and screwed the algorithm up. Hydrofighter says, I've been searching my soul for a long time to find out who I really am. Apparently, I need to pay Meta to validate me. Well, give it a shot and let us know how it goes.
If you go to many ashrams and temples these days, there'll be a sign outside saying,
"Verify with Meta for $12." J-Bell
Namaste and blessings. Give us your blue tick. Yeah.
J-Bell also has some advice for Curtis. He says, I think Curtis should put down €3,000 and run an ad for testing and report to the podcast.
Yep, see how it goes.
I'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and then FCC also says Instagram used to be great, so did Twitter. They were all okay when they weren't hunting revenue. Yeah.
J-Bell might have a point there, I'm thinking that maybe we should test this. Are we interested enough? I don't know, but maybe, try it for a week, see what happens. What do you actually get?
Well, to be fair, we don't even have an Audionautic Facebook.
No,
and there's a reason for that.
Yeah, we when we started Audionautic, we made a decision that we wouldn't want to go on Facebook because neither of us really use Facebook. We do.
You could have an extra 5 views on Facebook.
Well, we have an Audionautic records page that we use because we're testing out running playlist ads. So you have to have. It's better to have like one, but it's not. We don't post. It's just there so that we could test out these ads that we're going to talk about in the podcast at some point.
You can improve your reach by
2%, yeah. By 2 people,
We have like you said, like Sunwarper said, we have started running ads on Audionautic Records for our playlist. And if it's something that you guys would be interested in us feeding back on as we kind of understand a bit more, we've been running the ads for this week and we will be continuing to do so. If you are interested in what we have found and are finding out, then let us know.
It's been quite the ride, and we've only been doing it for about a week. It's quite interesting.
I wake up. Sunwarper is a lot more on the ball with like analytics than I am. I kind of shut down, so he does that stuff, and so I quite frequently wake up to messages of excitement from Sunwarper about what our analytics are saying about our playlist, and it's wonderful to see.
It's
so if
good
you want
to know.
It is, yeah, totally. I love it. Like I think I told you this morning, I woke up to your cheery kind of like update for the day. I was like, what a great way to start the morning.
Yeah, after a few darker ones, it was nice to have a win. What does Eon like have his hand raised for?
I'm just not done yet on this. I'm sorry.
We do need to move on to the last bit, but carry on.
It's just another example. A multi-millionaire sitting, eating money with it falling out of their backsides, deciding that people like you and me have got bottomless resources to keep feeding this monster they've created. I mean, everybody has their hand in your pocket as a musician, as a photographer, as a filmmaker, as an artist. Anything you want to do creative, everybody's in your pocket. And at what point did these people start being, the people with the most disposable income? Never. They never were. And it's just yet another example of that. And it's another reason why it blows. And okay, I'm in a bad mood today, but it still sucks.
I mean,
what's ADSN without Eon Lake rants, though?
Exactly. On a brighter note, maybe this whole thing, we're just going to find out that the reptilian spaceship is to leave Earth and go back to the home world made from compacted dollar bills. Maybe that's what we're going to find out. And this whole thing is just until Mark Zuckerberg can go home.
It was cool for a while.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I think we've exhausted that one. How about we talk about more analytics?
Yay! No, this is our we've come to the end. We're in a new month. It's the 1st of March 2023, and we've just come to the end of daily posting on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, and we said that we'd come back with what we'd found. So it is more analytics, but I think it's a bit more fruitful than just,
this is applicable to anybody that's trying to market themselves without exorbitant ad prices. This is a way to theoretically, everybody always says the way to grow is post on TikTok, post shorts. And so we wanted to test the idea of what they talk about, consistently posting every day, and now granted, these are talking head videos typically. Some may be the demos we do on this, so there is some some difference in terms of content. But Curtis and I, Curtis posted 30 days of music, and I do posts every, twice a week or once a week at least, of shorts and things like that. And now what I'm doing is testing the different content types on all these different things. But we wanted to test out this idea of post every day, just post consistently, and see what happens. So Curtis has been doing the YouTube Shorts on our Audionautic page and the TikTok. So he's going to relay some of the analytical findings of this month.
Yeah. And it's been quite an interesting ride. For anyone looking to post daily, short, don't. There's no need. You suffer from burnout, you get stressed, and it doesn't really benefit your channel. For what we've worked out, it became quite apparent after about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, halfway through, that actually posting twice or 3 times a week is actually probably better. It's probably a better balance.
And this is what we suspected, but we wanted to test this idea, in full. What would happen?
Yeah, so there is such a thing as too much consistency. There is overexposure. There is doing it back. If we look to our analytics, hang on, if I share my screen so we can see. If we look to the analytics, this is just directly from our YouTube studio. As you can see, we had more subscribers over the last month, but it's actually less than what we did previously in the month, and that was just when we were posting regularly. This was every day, and we actually got less subscribers as a result. Our watch time is up and our views are up. As you can see, we have
one caveat to views, though, is that's views in full in terms of clips, live streams, and shorts. But when it comes to monetization, if that's something you care about, views of shorts count completely differently to the watch hours. So you need 4,000 watch hours in a year of normal content, but I laugh at this number because it's just so ridiculous. You need 10 million shorts views in 90 days to be applicable for for the ad revenue. Of course, you need 1,000 followers too, which is a task in itself. But I think it's 10 million, 10 million views in 90 days for shorts. Now, shorts are very strange with views, but we'll get into that. But I just wanted to clarify in terms of watch time, that's bulk watch time. It's not split between the different applicable things, uses. Or
exactly. Whatever. What we have seen work quite well is the coupling of shorts and of videos, and of specifically different short to longer video. If you say you post a clip, like we post our clips, and then you post a short of that clip, so an even shorter clip of that clip, then that doesn't do you very well, right? But we saw growth towards the end of the month where we did our ADSN 51, which was a normal thing. And then we had a different short from something else we posted about the Oberheim, for example. And same again here. You've got the Sunwarper visualizer for Vistic, and then we did a short about beating studio fatigue, and that seemed to go quite well. However, as you can see towards the end of the month, we just dropped right off. And I think because we were posting so much, we just had too much of that overexposure. And we've seen this with our clips as well. The more we post, and if they don't meet with views and with likes, then it actually gets penalized against you in terms of your growth. And that is obviously not what you want in that regard. So we've kind of worked it out as to be like, we've dropped down. I think we're doing like 1 clip a week now. And then we do a couple of shorts. Well, we will start doing just a couple of shorts each week. It seems like a healthier balance, so to speak.
Yeah, and there's a couple things in terms of the ecosystem of YouTube and the different algorithms. So there's long form content, which can be just it's any video that's not a short, that's a 16 by 9 widescreen video. There's live streams, and then there's the shorts. Especially when it comes to shorts and long form content, there's not a lot of connection. YouTube has publicly said there's very little connection between the two, but they're bridging gaps between them. Their whole thing that they're talking about is combining the three, so that, what they're doing now, if you view a person's or a channel's short, when you go to your homepage, you'll be recommended their long form content. If you don't click it, then they obviously stop. But so it's a way they bridge it. Another thing they're doing is you can actually create shorts from your long form content on YouTube. So you can go to a video, hit remix as a short, choose a section, and it'll make a 9:16 version. Unfortunately, you can't edit different parts. So if you have multiple cameras, you're just stuck on the one 9:16 setting you choose. So it could be for one of it might show your face, the other it might show just a wall. So you have to kind of be with that. But what happens is when you post that short, it will link to the video, the long form content that you have, and say go here to watch the full video. So there's ways, if you're trying to grow, you can utilize all these different features, and that's something we need to do a little more of or experiment with. That's not what we did here. And it's kind of hard for these types of videos, because if we cropped it at 9:16, you get only one of our faces. So you're kind of, that's kind of the issue.
Well, I mean, obviously we go cut them through. So we make the Mac Daddy cut for Spotify and Apple Music, which if you are also listening or watching on the go, Spotify and Apple Music is a great way to kind of see what we do, because they do video podcasts now, especially on Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify does the video. Apple, I believe, is still just the audio, but yeah.
Yeah, but we cut it up, and it's a little bit more polished. We take out the ums and ahs and stuff, and make it pretty, and then Sunwarper makes it sound pretty, and it's all good, But where was I going with this? Yes, the idea is that I lost my train of thought. Yeah, the idea is that if you're on these, so to speak, then no, I completely lost it.
Well, I'll add this: if you don't cut a short from YouTube and you actually do one like how Curtis does, where he'll make it, you can in the comments put a link or put multiple links. I wouldn't do it in the description of a short, because descriptions are very hard to get to for a short. But put a quick thing in the comments, because as people are watching, the comments it's just like a reel right there on the right of the video. So it's you don't see them unless you click it, but it's there. So if you see 1, 2, 3, you might click it to read what's in the comments. So that's a way to kind of bridge the gap as well, more on your end than on YouTube's end, but it is there.
Yeah, very much so. So that is YouTube, but we're going to continue testing. It seems like...
Just really quick, I wanted to add too, sorry to cut you off, but in terms of subscribers, we have not seen a lot of carryover from people that subscribe from these shorts, watching the live streams or watching the clips. I mean, it's hard to really know, but in terms of we're not seeing the same numbers, because shorts will get tons of views, or can if it hits the algorithm right, and they're very short-lived. It hits, you see this huge bump, and then it just stops for the rest of its life. Sometimes there'll be a second bump, but the algorithm for shorts makes no sense. It's just a coin toss or something. Like, it's just chance. So yeah, but the subscribers don't seem to necessarily correlate into viewers. So you know, it's something if you're trying to reach that 1,000, but if you're not getting that 4,000 watch hours after that, then you know.
That might be a case of, again, that statistic of it takes about 12 interactions before someone clicks and does something. So as we've seen a lot of growth, it may be that they come in the next couple of months. So we'll have to see. We'll let you know.
We'll report back.
Yeah. One more thing about content just before we move across to TikTok is well lit and faces. It likes well lit scenes and faces when there's been shadow, or when the camera's been a bit off, or when we've posted demonstrations of the apps that we've used, or of VSTs that we've been sampling. It hasn't done as well as when it's been, say, 3 heads on a screen, which has been well lit.
That's surprising.
Yeah. So
they're tuning in for Eon Lake's rants. Let's just be honest.
People want to see faces, and people want to. I think again, it's built for people to hold their camera up in front and be like a bit selfie, like we're doing our thing. J Bell has been testing it with his album launch, and he seems to be getting some traction from that in that regard. So that's something that I want to explore a bit more of, the idea of if you hold your face up to the camera and just talk to it, does the algorithm see that? Is it less because it's less polished? Is it because of the words? Is it because it's off the cuff? What is it? We'll do some more testing in that regard.
Yeah, and you also have to remember the context of the channel too, because if you do that and it makes no sense to the rest of the channel, that subscriber that you might get is moot, you know?
Yeah.
So it depends. Like, I find those face things fit better as a story than as a reel or a short. But it depends on the person making it and what they do and stuff like that, the channel. So yeah. Really quickly, do you want to talk a little bit about TikTok, and then we should get on out of here?
TikTok, chaos.
That's the summary.
Fucking chaos. Oh, I shouldn't say that, but yeah, bloody
you
chaos.
got us dinged.
I got us dinged. Sorry, we're going to be demonetized now. Got to do better in the coming year. But yeah, TikTok, I mean, we didn't see much growth in TikTok, and I wonder if that has got anything to do with, again, the type of content we've been posting. 3 heads on a backdrop, maybe less interesting than, say, someone doing a dance or, you know, playing with their dog or something, which is, I don't much use TikTok, but when I do, it's usually to see cat or dog videos because they're cute as anything. Again, a lot less reach, and I feel like the idea is most of the followers that we did get are from people I know personally, for example, or people who are also in the community. And again, I wonder if that's because I was treating it in the same way that I was treating Instagram and stuff, that I put stuff out there, and when we got subscribers, it was when we were interacting. So we were commenting on other people's videos and liking stuff and things like that, which keeps you on the platform. But when I was just putting a video out and then just turning it off and just going back to not hating TikTok, we wouldn't see as much growth. We wouldn't see as much traction. So I wonder if that's got something to do. That's what Instagram was doing about 2 years ago. Like, if you wanted to grow on Instagram, you needed to be a part of that community. You needed to actually actively post and actively consume other people's content as well as put your own out there. So I wonder if they're doing the same thing in that regard. That makes sense, which doesn't seem to apply to YouTube. So if you aren't that interested in, or not interested, it's the wrong word, but if you are less concerned with that vanity metric of kind of going in and commenting and stuff like that, then that might be a bit more of a way to go for you.
Yeah, I think the thing with TikTok is, at least the last time I had checked, the algorithm there just shows you to like everyone. It's not necessarily people who, like with Instagram, if people like, let's say, SP404 videos and your video gets listed as an SP404 video by Instagram, they'll show it to SP404 like viewers. TikTok just shows it. And so if it doesn't get the reaction because it shows it to people that don't care or just skip it, then it won't keep showing it. So it's as you said, it's very chaotic. And that may change. I mean, you know, the algorithms always change, but that's the last time I had checked. That's kind of the thing. So it's like, it's very, like it's again a thing of chance, but it's like not shown to relevant people, so it has less of a chance.
Yeah. And I think as well as that, just to, on the top of that, the notion of trends. I think TikTok's still very much focused on trends, trending audio, trending video, remixes and cuts, or what they're called. I can't remember what they're called. But yeah, so if you're following those trends, you're going to get picked up and you're going to go viral if that's what you want to do. But if you're just putting out content, which is your lovely, wholesome content, then it's less chance of that happening. But if you're doing a voiceover of some anime, then you're probably going to go viral. And if that's what you want to do with your brand and that's how you want to do with it, and that's totally game. That's what you want to do. But it's a different ball game in that regard. It's a different ball game. It's getting hits and going for those vanity metrics as opposed to letting the art speak for itself, which is neither good nor bad. It's just is what it is.
But yeah, that's our experience with these. Let us know if you've done any sort of posting on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, whether it's once a week, once every month, every day. Let us know what your experiences have been. Has it been similar? Has it been different? We're very curious. I mean, it can vary quite drastically, but we'd love to hear your guys' take on it. But I think that's about it for the episode. Does anyone have anything they want to add?
No, I just think that's the value of community right there, is sharing this information.
Definitely.
Very much so. We give it out and we get it back. And yeah, so I'll bring that to the end. It's been a year. It's been an awesome year. Looking forward to the next year. Thank you ever so much for joining. The people watching to the very end, thank you very much. Hopefully you took something away from this episode.
Yeah, and if you found this video helpful and want to help us grow, consider leaving a like. It helps a ton get the word out. And if you use Apple Podcasts or Spotify, go check out the Audionautic podcast over there. Give it a rating if you'd like. It helps a ton. But just being with us through this year means so much to us. We really appreciate it. So no worries. We just appreciate having you with us along for the ride. And until next time.
Yeah. See you next week. We'll be back. Patrons, Sunday, 7 p.m. UTC. We'll see you in Discord. For everyone else, we'll be back on Wednesday. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for watching.